Shalom. All glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of the great millstone, which the Lord, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai themselves have dispensed this true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding through them, down unto the rest of the brotherhood, okay? Peace and salutations to the elect for standing firm in their integrity, always remaining wise to the best of their ability, all right, while we transition out of these wicked times to the kingdom. All right, this is Yakawal. I'm going to make a quick video and just want to talk about, because I was looking at this, I was like, let me see if there's anything going on, any little bit of ruckus. So I went to this, Donald Trump impeachment trial in the Senate. And before I even played it, there was an Edomite woman. I don't know who she is, but she was standing at the podium, giving a speech, an already prepared speech. Because we already know that these politicians, man, they don't have a say in what goes on, in the front lines of America, man. The president himself don't have a say in what he says. That's why he's always reading speeches. It's already written down for him to say what he has to say, because there's somebody else behind him telling him what to say, which is the high banking elite, wicked families of the earth, man. Now, the elite has been throwing Jake off for the longest time, man. They suck them in, divert them, manipulate their minds, brainwash them, and ultimately just have them focus on everything else but what they should be focusing on, which is coming back to the remembrance of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, knowing who they are as a people. And there was a scripture I came across yesterday in Wisdom of Solomon, the 11th chapter. While Israel was coming out of Egypt, they were going off. They were being stupid. All right. They were listening to everybody else but Moses and Aaron, and it got them into trouble. All right. It was, they were being distracted and taken away from the focus from all this other, little shit. And so it ended up happening to where they gave into their own deceptions. They were deceived by their own vain opinions. All right, they were deceived all in all by wickedness, and it ended up leading them to worship another god. And so, people want to ask, well, why is it happening? Why? Well, if this is up there, why, if I'm not supposed to be listening to it, why is this happening like this? Or why am I seeing it on there? There's a lot of, I'm going to just say it how it is. There's just a lot of bullshit out in the world today, man, because it's meant to be there for a reason. It's meant to be there so that you can search for the truth. All right. Because the truth is not just going to come to you, in a grape basket and just plop right down in front of you, man. You're going to have to do a little digging. And Esau, man, is a huge contributor to causing confusion and putting all that shit out there. And so the battle that's going on today, man, between you and the world is that you have to be able to rightly divide what you should be focusing on and what you shouldn't be. And the scriptures tell you explicitly you should be focused on the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and His ways. All right, Deuteronomy, the 12th chapter tells you, Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter tells you, all right, that your whole purpose as an Israelite, as a man, is that you should fear Yahweh and obey His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. All right, but because you are destitute of wisdom, all right, you're void of understanding, you do everything else. You cleave to other things that are not beneficial for your salvation. And I wanted to use this as an example because you already know Jake, is buried in the politics because they like to act like they're on a different level, like they're eloquent, like they're the top, they're the smart guy. But really, man, this is all just a bunch of distractions. All right. And so I'm going to read the scripture in Wisdom of Solomon. All right. The 11th chapter and the 15th verse. It says, but for the foolish devices of their wickedness, wherewith being deceived, all right, You were deceived because, again, you took heed and you gave yourself over to foolish devices. All right, today, man, in this time, man, you do the same thing, but you give your attention to things that don't need attention. You give your focus to things that shouldn't be focused on. And the scriptures say to be aware of your enemy and to watch him, to always be, always being a watch for him. All right, because the scriptures do say to never trust an enemy. But you ain't supposed to be sucked in to all this other shit he puts out, man, which is actually, the visionary tactics, strategics of a what do you call it? Of a murderer. All right, a brother put out a video yesterday, with the Tom and Jerry clip. Can't remember the brother's account, but it had Tom and Jerry, man, and it was showing you like how Esau has you thinking. What you should be. I'm gonna use it for another aspect. What you should be focusing. Slacking, man. Excuse me for all the stammering words, man. But what you should be focusing on is this truth, this knowledge. Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. And when a man comes to tell you that you should be focusing on that, you think, no, I need to be focusing on the worldly current events, what's going on in the politics, what's going on, Trump, he's a darker shade of orange today. These are the foolish devices, created by Esau, man. He makes you think you're supposed to be worrying about him and helping this country, thrive. It says again, but for the foolish devices of their wickedness, wherewith being deceived they worship serpents void of reason and vile beasts. Thou didst send a multitude of unreasonable beasts upon them for vengeance. Now, it says right here that they might know that wherewith a man sinneth, by the same also shall be punished. And you're worshiping that serpent today, man. Figuratively and metaphorically speaking, spiritually. Because the scriptures refer to the so-called white man as that old serpent, all right? He also is. I know that's not what the scripture's saying, but just look at it, in another view. Those vile beasts, unreasonable beasts. We already know that, any person outside of the truth is a brute beast, let alone the so-called white man himself. All right? And there's a scripture, I'm going to find it real quick. I'm going to open up my laptop. There's a scripture in, I believe it's Isaiah. Excuse me. But it's in Isaiah, and it talks about, let me see if I can find it like this. In Isaiah, Salakia, I'm always getting those two mixed. It's Jeremiah. It says, Jeremiah 10:8, but they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is the doctrine of vanities. See, now it tells you that they are brutish and foolish. All right? The stock of the doctrine of vanity. And the Esau, man, he got you, again, like focusing on things like this, like what I have right here as an example. All right, Jake is heavy into politics today, man. I mean, some of them watch because, they are trying to, discern what's going on. But for the most part, man, it's all just a bunch of ruckus, man. It's not going to benefit you to know that, Trump, this and that. Like, Trump is gone, man. The enemy replacing him is Joe Biden. And we got enough. You got the watchers watching the enemy for you. Those are the men of the Lord, the prophets. They're watching the enemy for you, and they're putting up all that knowledge on the internet. All right. So that leads again back to the main point is that you should be focused on this truth. All right. You should be focused on storing that knowledge up. Okay. It says right here in Jeremiah 30:11, it says, for I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee. That's what the point is, man. You want to be saved, man, for taking hold to what he told you to do. There's another scripture. Which book is it? I mean, you could quote a lot, but there's one particular where the Lord actually specifically says that he loveth no other man but those that dwell in wisdom. I believe it's either Wisdom of Solomon or the Sirach, because those two books I read a lot. But the Lord, he ain't gonna save you for knowing that Trump started some shit. He's gonna save you because you knew who he was. That's what true righteousness is. John 17:3. But it says, "For I am with thee, saith the Lord, to save thee." You want to worry about salvation. Because right here it says, "Though I make a full end of all the nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure and will not leave thee altogether unpunished." The point is that the Lord has got this all under control. All right. And the Lord sees all these things going on, man. All right. Again, these are all just things to throw you off, because the enemy wants to throw his enemy off, which is you. You're the enemy to Esau. All right. So, again, just put it out there, man. Like, just focus on the truth. Focus on the scriptures. All right. Like the scriptures say, I'll get one more in Proverbs. All right. Let me see. Let me see if I can get it. Right. Let me see. It says, Proverbs 6:21, "Bind them continually upon thine heart and tie them about thy neck." What are they talking about? Or what's that speaking about in Proverbs? The law, statutes, and commandments. This knowledge. All right. So even above it, it says, "My son, keep thy father's commandments and forsake not the law of thy mother." So this is what you want to be getting, man. This is the knowledge you want to store up. This is what's going to get you out and delivered. Okay. So, again, just a small thing, man. Like, cause I tried watching like a minute of this, and I was like, man, there ain't nothing going on in this thing, man. This shit is annoying. It's a waste of TV time. So, not saying that you can't look into these things, man. Just saying, like, you don't want to give your full attention to these things, man, because a lot of this shit is to try to divert you and deceive you, man, to throw you off and make it look like America's trying to actually, progress and be as a strong nation and a right nation. That's all it is. It's just deception and lies, man. So, hey, man, just keep it balanced, and acknowledge Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. But with that, I'll go ahead and praise and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Kakadash Brakatham, Kwam Yashala Shalom.